Welcome to Zero Session for Mighty Misfit Menagerie, or we're doing our Zero Session for our
State of Bugs
Starfinder campaign, which is going to be the Dawn of Flames. Or, as I typed in my notes here, the Dawn of Romance. Yes.
Not to already be asking questions, but thematically, cinematically, I need to know. Is it Dawn of Flames, like the birth of a flame, or like the mafia group is called the Flames? And it's
T-O-N or T-A-W-N?
Thank you, Rio.
Sadly, it's the dawn as in like the birth of.
T-A-W-N.
What do you mean, sadly? Either way, I win. Either way, I'm in for a ride. And Hank's going to give it to me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The year is like 8,212 and we're just discovering fire? That is so
This
cool.
whole new plane of fire.
I'm so excited that we can be here for this.
We're going to watch everybody discover my EP.
It's fire!
Oh my god.
Aren't you all so blessed?
Move the camera and say your almond cheek is invisible.
So all these house rules to make life easier, I think we're gonna start taking them away. All of those. So pick a number between 1 and 8.
6.
Oh, that's rough.
What have you done?
All right, take that one away. Right.
For anyone wondering, he actually did press a key on the laptop. And now I'm scared.
I'm just kidding.
Don't pretend like you all don't love me.
I remembered a question I meant to ask her in after party for the last game.
Okay.
Oh, I see where you're going there.
When I did Eldritch Blast, did it do anything?
To who?
The big bad.
No,
Okay.
because they just reflect. They didn't throw back at you.
Oh, okay. Because you did the keystrokes and I was like, I don't know if that's Hank being
Oh,
clever.
the big bad Valerie?
or-
Oh,
yeah.
for her it did something.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were just being super clever and still doing the keystrokes that I could
I did a couple
metagame that it
times
didn't
for a couple
happen.
things, but it's fine.
I like it. That's a smart move. That's a smart move. DMs at home, if you're doing it on roll 20, still do the keystrokes even if it's not deleting anything. They'll think something is happening.
So we're gonna start this out by I'm gonna go over what we're gonna talk about. So we're gonna go over a little bit of the campaign setting. We're gonna talk about some Starfinder rule stuff, which we've done already, but we're gonna do a refresher.
Okay.
We're gonna go over some house rules that I'm toying with, and then we can talk about them if people like them. If they think that they want them, we'll go with them. Then we'll go over some character creation stuff, and then we'll talk about next time. So first off, Starfinder is in the stars. It's magic, but it's also high tech. I know, right? Mind blowing. It's just toss that shit all out the window. It is Pathfinder setting, and so the rules are a lot crunchier than D&D are. However, we have a wonderful app, Hero Lab, to help us, and we have Starfinder, or we have Starship Builder app to help as well. This campaign specifically starts out and takes place mostly around the sun and also the plane of fire.
The sun as we know it?
And the sun within the Pathfinder universe, which they call the sun.
So they're just within one solar system?
Well, it's the main solar system where Absalom's stationed. So in Starfinder, there is the Pact Worlds, which is a system of, it's like a solar system of planets and various other celestial bodies that all long ago formed a pact together to like unite against an external alien threat that's called the Swarm, which are bug creatures, and they're fucked up.
They busted.
Yes. Not that kind of bug creature, but
Also, ironically, not this particular swarm.
yeah. Yeah, that's funny. You are a swarm. And so they all kind of united and they have their own solar system. Are you pulling that up?
I was going to pull up just the Pack Worlds map, which, of course, as I was like, no, of course, we don't do that.
Right,
and we're like,
yeah.
it's like, no, but I do want people to see
It's
that.
doing this, yeah. Basically, their sun
Okay, so they do. It is just one solar system.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's all of space is open, but it's their specific like system.
So some fun lore. The Absalom Station, which is right here. That's where the planet that Pathfinder took place on used to be.
Very good.
So this is technically, if you play Pathfinder, this is the far future of that game.
And that station is all. Is it a planet or it's all
It's a station.
made?
It's a man-made station.
Planet-sized station.
And that's where
I think it's
it's
a little
at.
bit smaller than the
Yeah.
planet.
That's right
But
here.
it's like the main
Yeah.
hub
Yeah.
of all star travel.
There is a thing in there called the Starstone, and basically, an event happened, and the three gods who form one deity triune, they basically gave knowledge of drift travel to the world, and the drift is Starfinder's version of like FTL, faster than light travel. So basically, the drift is like a subplane that like all other planes connect to that you can travel faster in to get places. So instead of traveling the normal starship speeds to other galaxies and stuff, you travel through the drift. And with the Starstone, it is a beacon to get to Absalom Station. And so if you are traveling somewhere else, it takes a random amount of time depending on your ship and all that kind of stuff. But if you're traveling back, it takes like much less time. I think it's like there's like a specific amount of time, yeah, to get back because like you are homing in on that.
So from anywhere in the universe, you can go back to Absalom Station in a day.
Okay.
Okay.
Some of the main planets, Castrovel is where the Lashunta come from, which are one of the main races. They're kind of like elves-ish, but they're telepathic. They're what?
But they're slugs.
They're descended from slugs.
They have like green skin and then two little antennae under their hair.
And they're beautiful beyond all.
They are beautiful.
Even
Which
the
I-
buff ones.
I do think it's really funny with Lashunta that they are descended from slugs, but they have hair.
Right?
Oh, it's wigs.
I can't remember Akaton and Verses. Akaton has a lot of the little Isaki. The Adari is a spaceship. It's a world ship that the four-armed creature things. Well, I can't remember what they're called, but that's their like world ship that just like appeared. Kasatha. So they have like
Barbadians.
they have like a bandana that they wear across their mouth. Basically, they like have their mouth covered. They have four arms, and it's a generation like world ship. And it traveled the galaxy and wound up there. Then there's the Diaspora, which is basically the asteroid belt to us, or diaspora, and a lot of pirates inhabit the Diaspora. Eox is one of my favorite planets because it is a dead planet. There was a group there, the Eoxians, who were trying to like create a massive like world-ending weapon, and it wound up backfiring and it destroyed their planet. But they learned how to like bring themselves into undeath to be able to survive there. So
Their ships have no life support.
yes. So Eoxians like by default are undead. Like that's where it's like an undead race. And you can like undergo processes to become undead, like through with them. I don't remember Triaxis. For Theta, I remember that's where. They're also in here. This does not show the Vesk system, which is its own solar system that is farther away. And the Vesk are like the lizard people. Lizard dinosaur looking dudes. They're like a warlike race. They're very like militaristic. They're one of my favorite races, and their whole like lore and stuff is really cool. But that's the basis for the solar system that this is going to be taking place in, but again, most of it is going to be by the sun. From there, Starfinder rule stuff. Definitely recommend using the app because it does a lot of the math for you, or does most of it. Starfinder relies a lot on crunchy number stuff. So there's bonuses, minuses, boons, buffs, banes, all that kind of thing, depending on everything.
When we say the app, you mean HeroLab.online?
Yes.
I was like, there's an app.
No. It's an online app. So your character, I would highly recommend building it in there. Making sure that if you have equipment and stuff, that it's equipped properly. It'll throw up errors if you have errors. We'll get into like the creation stuff in a little bit. As far as house rules, I have a few. Oh, also, the sun, another name for the sun is Mataris, which is a Lishnuka word, which means burning mother.
Burning Mother.
Yes.
What was the word?
Mataris,
Mataris.
Mataris. And there is actually a world that exists within the sun, which is where a lot of this is going to be taking place.
What happens when you get too close to the sun? You burn.
We'll find out.
We'll see.
House rules. The first one, I think Real might hate me for this or might love me for it. I am gonna let you guys choose what your key ability score is, regardless of what your class is.
Okay.
What? What?
Does that work with the app?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I may have to go. I think I can change that. So if you want to change your key ability score to something else, let me know and I'll look at it. And I think I can override that in the campaign.
Because
Oh,
that keys into a lot of stuff.
I think I can override that. If it doesn't, then we'll just go without
I
it.
think everyone's key ability score plays into their character. Anyway,
How do I know what my key ability score
class for
is?
you.
I don't know that I've chosen a class.
You wouldn't have it
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just gonna leave me how it be.
Second one,
based on
lemon lock. So you get one session once we level up, or you like choose a feature or something like that. Get a session to try it out. If you absolutely hate it, you can change it for the next session. Certain circumstances, I might give you 2 sessions to do that. If like we leveled up and then the entire next session was Starship Combat and you didn't get to use your feature, like your main features. So like we can work with that, but because Starfinder is so different and it's so crunchy and there's a lot of niche things, I think the idea of being able to like go back and change something that you thought worked one way and then we figured out that it worked a different way, that's helpful. Cantrips will level with you. In the normal rules, your cantrips don't scale.
Sorry, my computer's just being very loud.
And so your damage never really increases with your cantrips. There's a variant rule released by Paizo for scaling cantrips, and I've enabled it in Hero Lab, so it will automatically do it.
Okay.
It's a
Hero Lab.
weird explanation of how it works. It's not very straightforward.
the app will just do it.
The app will just do it.
Okay.
So you should see your cantrips as we progress, like getting more powerful. They're never going to be crazy, but because they're a cantrip. But Starfinder weapons use batteries because, or if you have like a gun that uses energy or anything like that, there's batteries for those weapons. One of the biggest gripes that I've come across when I've played is that you can't recharge your batteries on the ship because for whatever reason, but I'm gonna allow it because I think that's the stupidest thing ever.
You can't charge your battery?
You can
Oh,
now.
you can't. Okay.
Yeah, so if
But
you
that's
guys are on the ship, you can just assume that you can recharge your batteries. You used to have to get like a whole upgrade for it and all this weird
Yeah,
shit.
it's kind of weird if you think about it. Like your ship can fly forever without stopping, but it can't charge the battery.
Like there's no hookup for a standardized battery.
Just all starships use like a Swiss plug, and no one
Right.
ever has the
Yeah.
plug
Right,
for it.
exactly.
It's not
Like,
those
oh, this is a
really,
Lashunta battery and it's a Bantrid chip. I guess I can't plug my battery in. Resolve points. This is something that I want to test and we will see how it goes. But someone a system, bless you,
Thank you.
for using resolve points in more ways than just regaining stamina points. So we talked last time about how there's 2 hit point pools basically. You have your normal hit points, and then you have your stamina points. And your stamina is like whether or not like you can like mentally staminally like stand up to your damage. And then once you get past your stamina points, you get into your hit points. That's actual damage that takes a full day to recoup. And even then you don't get all of your hit points back the next day. It's like a specific amount. It's like half. This system, and so you get resolve points with your class in each level of like your inner resolve of like I can do this, I'm gonna like steal myself, and that's how you get your stamina back, unless you like rest. So this system has another use for resolve points. It probably won't really come into play until like a couple levels in because you don't get a whole lot of resolve points right away. But this one talks about spending 1 resolve point to add a bonus to a roll. So you steal yourself, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna fucking hit that dude. You get a +2. You can spend 2 for a reroll. You can take the higher. You can spend 3 for advantage. Like right off. And then 5 for an auto save, auto skill, or auto hit. Not a crit. But if you have 5 resolve points and you want to do it, I like it because it's kind of a thing where it's like I'm going to do something cool.
Yeah.
You have to use a large amount of resource that if you run out of resolve points and you go down, you will die.
Oh, jeez.
Like you use resolve points to make that
Stabilize. You have to use resolve. If you go down, you have to use a resolve point to stabilize unless someone stabilizes you, and then you have to use another one to get back up, to get hit points to go back up. So they're a limited resource, but I like the idea of them having another function and like doing something cool with it. Like I'm gonna take all of my gumption, I'm gonna focus, and I'm gonna fucking hit that guy, regardless.
Gumption.
Spellcasting. Currently, if you cast a spell and someone is threatening you, like is next to you, and they can hit you, if you cast a spell, you provoke an attack of opportunity, and if they hit you, you lose the spell,
Ugh.
regardless. I want to try switching it where if it is a 1-round spell, where it goes off right then, it does not provoke. If it is a multi-round spell, because there are spells that take multiple rounds to cast, it would provoke after the first round. You still get that 1 round. What's that?
Would that mean that like firing a gun is still an attack of opportunity or no?
Firing a gun, yes, because it's a ranged, because you're pointing somewhere else, you're focusing, that kind of stuff. If it's a spell, it's like I'm doing this thing right here. I'm not necessarily in your zone. If it's a multi-round spell, after the first round, you would provoke. If you get hit, we'll do the whole con save. And if you fail the con save, you lose the spell. If you pass it, then the spell goes off, kind of thing. I just think it's a huge punishment to not be able to cast a spell next to anyone whatsoever. And there's very few spells that say that they don't provoke, and they're very niche.
But if you pull a gun and you're next to somebody trying to shoot them, they get an attack of opportunity.
You're trying to shoot anyone.
Oh, okay. Well, and
'Cause,
there's
like,
someone next to you.
If that person next to you could get attacked.
It's like trying to
Yeah.
grab the gun or something.
Though, to be fair,
In the same round that you pull it and fire.
The same round you fire. If you pull it,
You still
It depends, like, because some people have a feat that lets you quick draw, where it doesn't take anything to draw a weapon, but sometimes it takes a swift action to draw a weapon.
okay, but do you still get your shot off before they get their attack? of
You
opportunity?
doing the shot would provoke, so they would be able to provoke the attack. But with that, even if they hit you, you would still get to shoot. They just get the attack.
That's what, okay. I just want to make sure.
And to be fair, unlike 5th edition, in Starfinder, as a move action, you can take a 5-foot step.
It's a guarded step.
As a
Guarded step.
move action, you can take a 5 foot.
So if you have 30 foot of movement, instead of taking your 30 feet movement, you can move 5 feet like cautiously away to remove yourself from someone, and they can't. That does not provoke,
Cool.
unless there are other people threatening the other squares, and then you're screwed.
Just don't get surrounded.
Because you can't move through your allies' squares.
You can move through ally squares, but you can't move through enemy squares. So like, if let's say, so these are on the grid right here, right? If let's say you're the blue one, okay, you could take a 5-foot step, guarded step diagonally here, and none of these people would be able to attack you. But if you took a
Without
5 foot
moving.
without, yeah, or they wouldn't get an attack of opportunity. for
Oh,
moving.
as you cast your little spell.
If you did a 5-foot a guard step and went here, these two would not get it, but these two, because you're still in that range, if you try to move again, then they're gonna have it.
Oh, okay. So strategic.
Or fire a gun.
Yeah,
Fire.
Because if you fire a gun, they get an attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is if you take a 5-foot step backwards
Then
first
fire.
and then fire,
You don't
you're
get
fine.
yeah, as long as no one else is threatening that area. And then I think you are thinking about biohacker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you get I don't know if it's specifically biohacker or if it's other people, if it's a feat or something. There's a thing called treat deadly wounds,
Okay.
where the text says once per day you can use treat deadly wounds to like help heal someone. It's stupid that you can only do once per day. So I would like to change it to once per encounter.
Okay.
Because one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, Andrews and Aliens, they make the joke that it's like, oh, I treated you once today, insurance won't cover me treating you again. So I gotta wait until your daily quota's up or whatever.
Okay.
I get not being able to use it multiple rounds in a row, like in a combat, but like if you have an hour between combats or even 5 minutes, like you could benefit from that again. The last one is ammo. I am on the fence about whether we're going to track ammo or not.
I think it's pretty easy.
It does. My argument against it is that it sucks. My argument for it is that because this is like high-tech society, it's a like standard thing to have ammo in your battery packs, and those help limit how much damage you can do and like what abilities you can use. So I'm on the fence, right? I think we're going to start out with tracking ammo, and we will see.
What if as a compromise, the same way we can recharge our batteries on the ship, we just have a infinite ammo on the ship itself. So you have to track it in the adventure, but if you ever get back to resupply, because the app has like just a resupply button, and so that it refills your ammo too.
Yeah. So if you get back to the ship, you can restock there. I think I may limit that if it's like things that have very specific ammo. Like there are like mini missile guns, and like those take a lot of resources and are hard to find. So like those ones I'm not going to see. You guys have like unlimited.
Like
They're just
for
normal
injectors,
bullets.
my bullets.
Right. If it's just normal bullets, then yeah, we can say you probably have like thousands of rounds on the ship, because why would you not?
Same with like my syringes and shit.
The actual syringes themselves, yeah, but like as far as like you create custom ones, like
Yeah,
those
you gotta
obviously are
spend-
limited to, but like the actual like darts.
The
Yeah.
vessel themselves.
Naturally,
Yeah, okay.
biohacker, they can make their serums every short rest.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
A 10-minute create to create my biohacks. I'm very excited.
That's all I've got for house rules right now. I'm gonna post them somewhere so we all have them, and then we can reevaluate them as we want to. Google Drive, yeah. question so far.
I would even say it sounds fair to me if we get rid of the rule where you lose your spell, but you still provoke attacks of opportunity when you cast a spell. Because if it provokes an attack of opportunity to pull the trigger on a gun, it makes sense that a spell would also, but just not losing the spell automatically.
Because if we hit you.
Because
Yeah.
a spellcaster could just as easily guarded step away.
Okay. Yeah. So
That sounds fair to me. Do concentration checks, basically.
right, but if you do the concentration check, what happens if you fail it?
You would lose the spell.
Okay, so do that for all spells, not just multi-round spells.
I think that's fair.
All right.
Because it incentivizes tactical movement, which there's like a lot of feats that go into tactical movement, a lot of special abilities that go into tactical movement.
All right.
Makes you think about where you're standing.
Okay. I'm down with that if everyone else sounds like.
I mean, I think Jake's the only spellcaster so far, so it's really
Yeah, but I mean, you can pick up spell gems, and anyone can use that kind of stuff, and like anyone can. Like,
But I just think it's fair firing a gun.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if that is the set rule for ranged, then yeah. If it's an option where we can remove that for both, then awesome. But
I mean, I'd also be down for that. But
We'll see if we get to a point where it's a huge thing and it's really making it difficult and everyone is unhappy with it, then I'm happy to take that rule and like, because that is one of the like more contentious ones in this system that like that takes a lot out of.
but it also benefits us as players because we can use those same rules to hedge out enemies in a certain way too.
Yeah. That's what I got for house rules. As far as character creation, you've got a full character. You're close.
Full character. I just finished
You're a
it.
full character. You are
I'm decently close. I just need help with spells, a new feat, and equipment.
okay. You too. Do you know what you want to do? I'm not calling you out. Sorry, this is just me asking.
Is
like,
this
what's-
me? Because like I thought I was done. Because I thought that the app would prompt me with more of those red text things to show me what I needed to do. But I didn't pick a class
Oh, so
So-
you got to.
because they were all, and I haven't picked any equipment. I know that because I wanted to.
Oh, equipment. Yeah.
You don't have a level. You gotta give yourself one level, and then it'll ask you for all that stuff.
Where do I give myself a level?
Under my classes.
Oh, that's the act of picking a class.
Yeah. We'll do the little plus thing, and then yeah. And that's when all the red stuff's gonna pop up and ask for your features and stuff that you want. So you've got Biohacker, Witch Warper,
I actually
Operative.
changed to Mystic.
Mystic. Okay, cool.
It sounds like it gives me more options.
Okay. Okay.
do we need a face then?
I mean, you can. It's up to you guys what you want to do. But what's your ability score? Mystic is Wisdom.
Is it?
It's
Oh,
yeah.
wisdom, but you could very easily also.
I don't know anything about these classes and how they play. Because my race ability score is charisma.
Yeah, and you can still do charisma pretty easily.
Okay.
Mystic is like cleric.
So I was going to do operative either way, but my concept kind of changes based on a few things. So that was what I was going to see. And we can get into it as we're like more discussing what our characters socially are. But I have 3 concept options.
Okay.
And they're dependent on if I'm attached to somebody or not. Because one thing with Jake, I know we're talking about Jake being the captain. So I don't know if we want to do this right now or wait until we get into that section.
Well, so you've got your,
Nanosecond.
there you go. And then, do you know what you want to do, Laura?
I'm looking at them now. I hadn't
Okay.
looked at them because,
It's
like I
okay.
said, I didn't
It's okay.
realize. It's a very-
It's fine.
I'm also very far behind because I was telling Helena when she got here. We were talking about this in the last one. We were doing the DM interview thing earlier, and I spent my weekend redoing this room and recabling things.
Okay.
No, I'm just telling them. I mean, I appreciate, but I do appreciate it. So I told Helena when she got here, I haven't read the questions you sent me, and I also haven't looked at Starfinder because I've been tearing apart every inch of this room.
It's all good.
It looks exactly the same, but I did take everything out of every drawer and closet.
What's everybody else's classes then? They have
Nanosite, biohacker, mystic.
Operative, mine is flexible. If you like operative,
Okay, just is Solarian like religious in nature?
It's the concept. It's like a paladin. So like you follow a deity, but you're not like. You could be like espousing their beliefs and stuff, but like you. That's what Mikizos was. Mikizos was Solarian, so he summoned that weapon. Vanguard's fun too.
Should I just move back
Vanguard
to
lets you to
which warper?
people with your fists.
It's up to what you want to do. So
my biggest worry, and this is absolutely a shot at Paizo. My biggest worry is having a character that in a month I go, I'm just not good at. I can't do anything. Roll low. Well, didn't do it. So I
we can get you a new character.
just need a character that.
and Helena, on your side of it, did you have like kind of an idea of what you wanted your character to do? Because we could always look at classes based on kind of like what you were thinking about.
Do you want to be damagey? Do you want to be like behind the scenes? Do you
More
wanna
social,
be,
more scale monkey.
Well, so I wanted to be probably a little bit more not violent. So like I don't want to be like the important battle person. I had looked at pilot stuff because I want to be. So I'm from the moon Hib, which is on the.
Are you gonna be a Bantrid?
I'm going to be a Bantrid. And so our species has been kind of like in, I don't know, chronosleep or whatever. Like they were like in you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like in hibernation.
Right.
So they come out, they don't remember why. And so my character is like an emissary from that planet, like one of many that's trying to be it's basically like I want to be an influencer, like from that
So
planet.
there's an influencer archetype thing.
I didn't pick that because I don't want to be a celebrity in that way. Like I want to be like I'm doing it because I want to do it for my people and I want to be important to them, but I don't think
You could be an envoy.
No, that's what she was last time.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
I mean, I'm not saying sure.
Well, if you want to be more on the support side of things, you should consider precog.
No, that's one I have not seen played before.
It's super new.
Yeah,
And it's basically super bard.
Super Bard. Space
That was my
Bard.
backup. Was I was either going to do operative or precog.
And precogs make really good pilots too.
But is it still a magic? Is the magic user?
I don't think so.
They're
it's
magic
kind of
adjacent.
fast. Like you don't have spells, but you have abilities.
I think they do get some
Do they have
spells,
spells?
I
but
think very little though.
yeah, it's okay. So not rules analogous, but like spell ability analogous. Warlock could be like the closest on the D&D side because they got like very few, and it's more about your other stuff.
So the description of the class is, through some cosmic event, you have come to understand the ebb and flow of time to a degree that only a select few can. You manipulate time dexterously, accelerating, slowing, or even reshaping chronologies to suit your needs. The skeins of time are yours to see, and you know how to apply enough pressure to adjust their threads ever so subtly. Your ability to understand the infinite possibilities of time also shaped you into someone capable of altering the material universe through powerful spellcasting. You can harness temporal paradoxes to foresee the future and dictate the present in powerful ways. So you do get spells. You're not heavy armor, so you would not be front lines.
I think all the spells are like buffs, debuffs.
Let's look at you.
There's also very few spells in Starfinder period, so it's not.
Yeah, this one sounds fine.
And the cool thing about precog
Dexterity.
is, as opposed to being like a school of magic, you foresaw some kind of like doomed future, and that dictates how you view the world and some of your powers.
So you could use that you saw that like the Bantrids never got out of hibernation, or they got out and they were enslaved again by the fucking goddamn, what the fuck are they called? Ugh.
So just looking at kind of like options. Another one that would be more charisma based would be Witch Warper, but there are more spells than that. And it's more like reaching into alternate realities and pulling pieces of them into this reality.
Witch Warper sounds a lot cooler than it is in actual play.
Fair. Yeah, it has.
Back and change back to
Because they're like, because like you can pull like a reality out, but your level 1 ability only has the one effect.
Yeah, no. It is. I think it's. But it's similar to a lot of other things where in Starfinder level 1 it's rough. Witch Warper gets better over time. Precog gets better over time. Precog also has very limited abilities at level 1. So it's going to be the same with any of those kind of deals. None of the other things are really lent to charisma. I mean, mechanic, obviously, you're going to get more of that engineering and knowledgeability. We do have a nanosite, and I honestly don't know very much about nanosites either.
We just create stuff out of our bodies.
Solarians, like Paladin, operatives, like rogues. Operatives also kind of function on like the little bit of like a James Bondy level if you want them to. It kind of depends on the flavor you give them. Kind of skill monkey in the rogue sense. Technomancers, wizards, but with technology.
Mechanic.
Envoy you've already done.
I mean, you can do a drone.
It's true.
Drone I'm not familiar with.
It's not even on my option.
No, mechanic drone.
Oh,
Where you get a drone. So it's like, what Jared did in First World of Darkness. Where he
or
had-
Raga.
Raga. Like, a lot.
Yeah,
You
I'm
have to be
bummed
ready
because
right now.
I made a point to like look at it and
It's
I
okay.
thought I was ready.
It's okay.
As long as you have the backstory in your head, that's what matters.
That's gonna be the more
Yeah,
important
we're just
stuff.
trying to fit your class to your backstory, that's all.
And again, if we do this first session and you try out a character and you absolutely fucking hate it, we can figure something else out. You're gonna be a place for a little while where you can we can write off someone else coming in. Or like you were a temp crew member who another crew member came on and finally is come back from something
They called their Banford family member and were like, fuck this, people.
yeah.
I'm going home. You come,
Yeah.
you other class. Like,
They'll never know. We look exactly the same.
Yeah, but
I
Um,
and for me, I'm going with operative right now. Precog was a close second for me. So if you end up going operative or something, I can always switch, or vice versa.
we can have two operatives
Or we can have two operatives.
because you can function in different areas.
Yeah, well,
And
and
there's also one of those classes that's
yeah. And I think we're all kind of in that place, like Rio and I both are we have multiple directions we could go. So
I was
it's always helpful.
well because if I
Rio's
go,
because his is real built, and mine is because I'm not built.
I just have two builds. One that focuses on power because that's kind of like my sci-fi power fantasy. But I'm afraid I'm going to be disappointed with it, so that's why I was like, I don't want to pull that plug yet.
And
Plus, I fell in love with this character.
Starfinder does have things built in where when you're higher level, there are ways for you to recreate your character and still be the same person but have a different class. So, like, this is high technology, high fantasy. They have come up with ways to like total recall you, and like you are the same person, but all of a sudden, hey, I'm a fucking mystic now.
Weird.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's something that like I would be down to work into the story if like someone at some point is like, I fucking hate this. I love the character, but I hate this mechanic, or like I hate this class. Can I do something else? And like I just still want to be the same person, just something I want to do something different. Totally down to work on that.
It's so strange to me that the classes are not aimed at what your role is on the ship. I mean, I guess that makes it better. Like, you get your class and then you also get your role in a ship. Like, it gives you an extra dimension. But it just seems like, to me, that's where they should be.
So I think that like we as a group put a lot more stress on the ship than the game does.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Okay,
I
maybe
think
that's what
part
it
of
is.
we've had a lot of discussion about our roles on the group. It's like
It's negligible.
it's 1/10 of the gameplay.
Oh, wow.
So like
Yeah.
because like the majority of the time you're still doing D&D. Like you're still doing
Yeah.
Pathfinder, you're still doing on the ground doing stuff. The ship combat is like once every other chapter.
This one's gonna be different because, or like, it's gonna be a little jarring because like, you go right into Starship combat almost, and so like,
And that's how it felt like with Coulter's
Right.
thing, too.
Well, and like, even if the ship combat isn't a huge part of the game, I feel like from a role play perspective, your role on a ship explains why you're on the ship. So for me, that's why it's important.
Yeah.
It's less if you're like a good pilot or not, and more like you're
Why
the
would
pilot.
you be, why are you, yeah, why do we care about what you do in this
Yeah.
world?
yeah,
I think we should focus on what we're good at and like talk about each other's characters and how we know each other and stuff. And I think everything else will come out in the wash.
Yeah, I think that Rio and I, which I think both are valid, we just take opposite views of
Yeah.
that. My build view is I'm gonna build everything else and then figure out where I fit in the ship.
yeah.
Like
Okay.
Okay. I kind of built it a little weird. Like, I built it with the whole, like, ship position in mind, but because I want to build a space doctor, and then science officer is one of the things, but that's what I originally wanted to do. So I built the best space doctor I could, but because I wanted to, not because of like the ship position.
Whereas like with Haven, he could have fulfilled like 3 different roles on the ship. I could just tweak him in any of those roles. Because he could have been a passable mechanic, a passable pilot, or a passable gunner.
and I think
It's true. There's only so many skills.
yeah, like I think the only class that's not even that, I was gonna say the envoy is like one of the few classes that's really kind of like you need to be a captain, but envoys also are skill monkeys, so they can also be a science officer or possibly a mechanic, like depending on what you're.
Envoy can really do anything.
Yeah.
If you put your skill allocations in the right places.
And same with like operative, or like if we didn't have a doctor, we could have a technomancer being the science officer. Like
More focused on computers.
I mean, not to keep plugging it, but one of the podcasts I listen to, their captain is a fucking mystic who has like no charisma. Like rocks the fuck out of the captain position. It's like you can like min-max that stuff and like you can build for those things, but like it also is like what your dynamic of the group is gonna be.
And Mystic is really fun, Jake.
Yeah, I just went back to Witch Warper anyways because I already statted out and stuff.
I know what I totally get what Rio was saying on that, and he is right. I still love Witch Warper just because the flavors, just something that I really
It's a
enjoy.
fun, like skin.
Which is why I love Precog, because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna suck at first, but the Precog idea is so cool. Like,
So, my friends that burned me to Pathfinder and Paizo aren't gonna watch this. So, with that being said, I fucking hated playing Pathfinder.
Same.
It was so not
miserable.
fun. My character didn't do anything successfully. Everything I tried to do was overshadowed by someone else who could do it better. So I'm going into this like scarred, and I'm like, I have to make a good character. I have to make a good character. Otherwise, I'm going to hate this game.
And that's why I keep trying to push you towards Mystic, which is really, really fun.
I've
and
spent
really
so
good.
long doing this.
It can take 2 seconds.
Okay, let's do
I'm
it.
just saying, if you want to play a Witch Warper, but
I don't know.
well, I'm saying just all the forums and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
people talk about having the issues that you're talking about. So I'm just very scared that if you play a Witch Warper, it's gonna trigger you.
But being a Bernari, which I know is the one thing I want. That's what I want. I get charisma bonuses, so why not play Witch Warper and then buff those bonuses even more?
I mean, you could do that, like I said, but I'm just really scared that if you play a Witch Warper, you're gonna get halfway through and be like, everyone can do cool stuff, and all my stuff fails all the time.
Well, we have a session
Oh, I
to
know.
decide, so.
I'm just really scared
That's
because I know
idea.
what you've been saying.
So 2 things.
Yes.
For one, I played Witch Warper before. I didn't have a problem.
Okay.
I will say,
Yes.
get a gun.
Okay.
You will need it.
Everyone should have a gun, regardless of
Definitely need
what
it.
you do. You have a fucking gun.
Okay.
I will also say I think that it's a different group. You know, I mean, obviously it's, you know, and what Rio and Hank both said, like, you got a round. So if you play the first round of Witch Warper or you play the first round of Mystic and you're like, I should have gone the other way, you can always switch it.
Okay.
So that brings me to my next question, though. Money starting.
You should start out
here.
with 1,000. You should have whatever the starting.
If you go to my classes, you can hit, I think it's accept starting wealth
Yeah, I
My-
didn't say that.
Where are you looking?
under my classes.
What gun should I start with?
Add starting wealth to character.
Yeah.
Use standard starting wealth.
Yes.
Okay, and then we can use that to then buy our
And
weapons.
unlike D&D Beyond, love D&D Beyond, but when you buy things in here, it will take your wealth away. Like
Oh,
it will
cool.
do
So
the
it'll-
math.
And you can sell
Okay.
them back.
You
So
actually shop.
then-
And Paizo says sellback is only 10% of the cost. I say, fuck that.
So
Well, and I was just saying during character creation, you can sell back for full just because you didn't
Oh,
technically
during
buy it.
character, yeah, but like in general, like I think it's a little weird that you only get 10% back of something. Obviously, if it's something that had charges and like you can't recharge it and you used like 20 of the 22 charges and there's only 2 left, sure we'll adjust that. But like
I mean, to be honest, selling back at 10% is kind of how it works in the real world.
this is space and aliens.
And in space, like,
Things work different.
No one can hear you scream.
it's true.
Exactly.
what I'm just saying, like, but like a used gun is still not going to be worth the same as buying a gun new.
Okay, so we want the 10% though.
I'm just saying it's realistic. I was not arguing for it.
I think.
I was gonna do.
Maybe we'll do
I
like
like-
50 or something, but I think
50
10%
makes
is
more
good.
sense.
50 makes-
Yeah, 50 makes
I think 50 makes more sense than
Then the
10
math
for
is
sure.
going to be easier. Is it
Because it's like,
blinking?
it's not like it doesn't work anymore. Like it still
Right.
functions the exact same way.
Unless someone sundered it or something, and then
Well,
Is it
yeah.
charged already?
Should I buy
So-
a tactical semi-auto pistol or a tactical?
So
Kestis,
one
Kestis,
thing I will
Kestis.
tell you that I told Brio is that this campaign does take place with a lot of fire creatures, which are generally immune or somewhat hardy to fire damage.
Related to fire damage.
Something with bullets. And then also another thing to think about is depending on the kind of gun that you're using, it's either going to be EAC or KAC.
Most everything has a lower EIC.
Right. So energy weapons generally will hit more, but if they're immune to that damage type or vulnerable or whatever to it. Yeah.
So this projectile weapons fire solid rounds.
That's gonna be kinetic.
The semi-automatic. Oh,
Which is good.
which is good. Okay.
Or what he's saying, because you don't have to worry about lasers, which most of the creatures will be able to have the damage.
Okay.
So,
So this gun,
like KAC is going to be harder to hit, do more damage.
Okay.
Easier to hit, do less damage, and in this case, they might be immune to it.
And also, unlike Coulter's Witchwarper, with his change to cantrips, your cantrips might be better than
true.
vanilla Pathfinder. I don't know how much better, but
And I don't want to dispute Rio because Mystic is better overall. I really enjoyed it playing Witchwarper. I am a big flavor person.
I think you really like Star Shaman Mystic. It is a kind of flavor of character I think you would really enjoy. Because you basically become Miss Marvel.
That's kind of tight.
Like you literally glow in space and you can just fly in space without a spacesuit.
What armor should I have?
I think you only get
I think you're.
Mystic, I think only gets light.
second skin is the cheapest for the
Then
most
again,
value.
it'll show red if you don't qualify for it.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Okay, so questions. With these three concepts that I have, now that we're getting into like equipment and stuff, I feel comfortable asking. It for me, it's dependent on who I'm attached to, or if I'm unattached to anybody. One option was to go Lashunta for the operative, going more of a kind of mildly James Bond underground assassin with a noble background who is here for a reason. Doesn't necessarily know what the reason is, but he knows he's here for a reason. Kind of as a secondary face. Other option, attached to our otter buddy, as an android operative who just kind of appears as a sort of protocol droid for the captain as far as interactions go, but is actually an assassin, as well as a skill monkey. But like in interactions, does C-3PO, walks up, helps with translating, that kind of deal. And then
Culture.
when things go around the back, stats. And then the other one was a little more of a like back alley, vaguely pickpockety, classic rogue Ahsoki. So that one could kind of be attached to any of the characters. Is here because of a friend, and often has things that you don't expect in his cheeks.
I like that.
So again, I will say that this adventure does start out with like you guys should know each other. You should be assumed that you run a couple of missions together. Whatever those missions are is up to you guys. If you guys are like freighters, if you guys are like a kill squad, if you are like just exploring, like whatever you want, but like you guys should know each other in some fashion. Because it's assuming that you guys care about each other and like will protect each other because you need to.
You're a tight knit group.
So I feel like the Lashunta is maybe...
I like the second or the third one personally.
Okay, so we're looking at... So as far as I was thinking, the protocol droid is just for show. On the ship, a little more foul-mouthed and on the level, but that's just a way to fly under the radar. And then the Ahsoki is just a little more trashy overall, but in a fun way.
Ratchy.
Well, who is the captain? Oh, Jake. Oh,
And you're thinking you want to do pilot?
pilot. What I had in mind when I set up the little bit that I set up.
Yeah.
Fucking love
So
Banjo.
gross.
I
They're
do
so
like
cute.
for the Ahsoki, for us, and not that we have to decide relationships right now, but if we went the direction, something along the lines of like
Dick.
we went with the Asoki with the like underground thing of like helping find you when you came to interact with society for the first time.
Cool.
Like,
Hello. Please tell me everything.
oh yeah, no, I got you. Let's talk about this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. We'll go through everything.
I don't have
I was originally gonna go for like a
Tentacles.
I was originally gonna go for like a Minnesota kind of deal, but like I think that for the Asoki we're gonna go more for like a vague New York. It's kind of all over. Yeah, exactly. You know, no, we don't live in the city. I mean, we commute sometimes, but like it's not the plan.
How's that?
For
Which warper? I am too far.
Which warper?
The other warper.
Wait, which one?
The other one.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was
Yeah, those are, so we're narrowed down to Android or Isoki.
For the how we all know each other and whatnot, if this adds any flavor to your ideas, Kerrigan and I had talked that her character keeps mine alive almost out of spite.
yeah.
I like it.
Because I'm playing I think it's really interesting. So the biohacker and the science officer thing, but I'm also I chose I think it's pronounced Goron, the plant people.
Yeah,
I'm a plant.
the tall, pretty trees
Yeah, and so
with your little otter.
his little yeah. So I'm like, will you quit that place? I can't heal you if your organs get rearranged.
Oh, you're the one that people want to eat.
Yeah, I'm delicious.
Oh shit.
Great. Love that.
Oh
for DM.
no.
Great.
Delicious.
Oh no. All right.
That's if they get if they only know I'm delicious if they bite me. It's a big if.
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 Is it a big
And it's a grapple.
I'm trying to remember the first scene.
I was reading the thing and it was like if you get grappled by someone with a bite attack, then it's harder to get out of as the delicious thing.
Oh, because they wanna. Oh.
Yeah, so if they have a bite attack and grapple me, then it's more difficult to get out of.
These spells isn't something that we come across at low levels, or is it still high levels?
I think it's mostly high level.
We
Okay.
change it.
Well,
The more I'm kind of looking, the more I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to basically do spells with one hand and shoot in the other?
I don't think you can do a wheel that way, but it would be cool.
But an idea, or like some variation of like, oh, spell failed, shoot, spell.
That is, yeah.
By the way, there's a holy water grenade, if anyone was wondering. That's an actual thing.
I think that's specific. Oh shoot, my computer fell asleep. I didn't
Oh, no.
realize. Oopsies.
It's okay, we're still streaming.
I'll have more.
Oh no, I was gonna point to a planet.
I'll have more of them and like better printed ones next
Okay,
time.
sir.
But this is like a cheat sheet. I think I showed it last time, but there's like a physical, and then I'll get one for everyone.
Oh yeah, you kind of
As far as like, so your actions, you have your round or like your turn. You can either do a full action that takes your entire turn, and there's specific things you can do, or you can break it up like in 5e where you have your like main action, your swift action, and then a move action. And your move action can be used for more things than just moving. Like you have the guarded step. You do have to worry about stowing and drawing items in this game. So if you want to draw a pistol, that does take a move action, I believe, or something like that, unless you have a feat that allows you to make it like a swift action or like a non something.
Switching this.
Yeah. And I built a thing for this, an app that you like tapped what you wanted to do and it would tell you, okay, you can do this. But I can't find where I built it.
So
So I'll recreate that. And then...
is my Goron gonna be a problem?
No,
Okay.
no, it's more just like me thinking ahead. Like,
Okay.
I can't remember if one of the first creatures you come against bites you or not. And I feel like it does.
I'll just try not to get bit. I do have an immunity thing, but it's more of a
Yeah. I think I have
what is it called? Like, not a biome immunity, but a environmental adaptation. And I originally chose heat dangers, so I can pick one right now because it's like per level. But it's like don't take any of the selected conditions, penalties, non-lethal damage, and I don't need to attempt saving throws to resist their effects. And I figured plants, heat, usually not a good combination.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to help me from things that want to bite me with any of the things I could have picked. So. But I did just buy a needle rifle and a needle pistol.
Oh.
So if you guys are too far away from me in battle, I'll just shoot you with a syringe.
I love Biohacker because one of the coolest things you can do is that, like, if you are up against something that, like, it's like immune to something, you can, like, get it, you can, like, take its immunity away.
Or
you
have
can,
resistance.
like, yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's just so cool. You're just like, you're immune to fire? Not anymore. Sorry, bud.
Well, that's why when you said, like, everything's going to be resistant to fire, I'm like, well, with a biohacker on the team.
Yeah. It just would take a lot of resources.
Toxicology, I think, is the main thing I picked right now. But
And I'm really sorry because we're talking about between mechanics and character stuff. So, with this dynamic, how did you two meet?
we did not get that far yet.
How did we meet?
It probably saved your life, and then you immediately started doing something stupid, and I was like, well, this fucker.
I
really like the concept of you guys basically being Bones and Kirk.
Literally,
were-
I was like, I want to build bones.
Like you
But,
guys were in
different.
some kind of like Starfleet Academy, and then you dropped out and went to.
I want to let everybody come up with their own origin.
No, I looked at Jake today and said, damn it, Jake, I'm not that kind of doctor. So we already made that. Don't you worry. But very much more like, she's more like put together. Bones was a little, I
Have you
love
ever-
Star Trek, but Bones
So
was a
let me-
little out there.
Let me ask you character questions then. Had you ever met a Bernari before me?
Yes, because that was one of the languages I took, simply because so I got 3 different languages, and I feel the need to be diverse. Technically, I speak 5 languages, but 2 of them were handed to me.
Jake, there's dice.
So because I have Bernari as a language, I feel like I have. So I guess there's 2 ways we could do this. I either have come across Bernari before, or once I met you, I decided to like learn the language and figure it out because you were just such an interesting. Because already character-wise, I already have it that like, especially with the environmental like adaptations and stuff like that, I typically go to different planets and try to just like figure out new medicines and how things interact with different species. And a Bernari would be very, very interesting, especially if I haven't met one before. I'm constantly taking like blood samples.
What's your theme?
My theme, that was biotechnician.
Oh, with all of them.
Well, I'm like the medical officer thing, and I looked through all of them, and I'm like, I did, however, so let me know if you're going to take the, what was it, what are your 2 races you were going between?
Android or Ahsoki?
If you pick Android, let me know, because I was tossing around, I can pick like a primary area of study, basically, so like medic is my thing, but I could pick a primary one, and one of them is cyber something.
Genetics. No, I'm sorry.
But the definition or the difference of like
When you say medical officer, do you mean science officer?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I do.
Because I was like, there's a medical officer.
No,
I don't know
that's
what you're
the-
talking about.
Yep. No. You're right. I just keep
You
calling
call it whatever
that.
you want. I just want to make sure I was picking up what you're putting down.
So I took I have a decent bonus to bluff and intimidate and diplomacy. And so my thing was I was going to be grumpy quite often, mostly.
Except when you use diplomacy.
Except when I use diplomacy. I'm grumpy, until I have to not be.
Is this concept of like that guy on screen, Regal Captain, screen turns off, fuck this.
This fucking
Hit the
douchebag.
mute button while fingers on the mute button. Oh, your insides are going to be outsides real soon, buddy. We decline your requisition request.
Captain, that wasn't the mute button. You just
was the fire all
broadcasted that to
button.
everybody.
You guys paint it like bright pink.
This one.
I feel like I'm leaning towards Isoki now, but I do love the idea of the android as soon as he hits the wrong button going.
Moving a finger over.
We gotta
Isoki
be
can
careful.
do the same
'cause
thing.
Just a different vibe.
Yeah.
The Isoki's gonna be more like,
We gotta be careful with the android thing. It'd be awesome if you did, because it'd be like Bones, Kirk, and Spock.
Well, so Haven's kind of Spock.
It's just Star Trek.
Haven is kind of murder Spock.
Murder Spock. You know what? When Spock snaps, I'm saying.
Oh, there he go killing again.
Go cute. Also have a fun little thing. Auto injectors. I can just hook y'all up with auto injectors, so if something happens, boom, the bleeding stops because it triggers, and my little like medicine bomb goes off and helps you.
Honestly, I think Biohacker is one of the better healers in the game.
It's so
weird.
Space healers. I always think like D&D healers are like Mercy from Overwatch, where they're like, I'll heal you, and I'm like, space healers are like, here's a gun with needles in it, boom,
Well, and
get
like,
healed.
and I believe you can make it to where even though you're shooting us, you always hit us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. There's like a whole, and it's if I attune my, I can attune my thing to 3+ something, my custom micro lab, which I have embedded in my arm, by the way.
It's
I have it
there.
flavored. But if I attune you guys to it, that's like, and then that's when I can like auto inject you guys with stuff to have it go off later. Trap spells, but like beneficial.
trap spells, but good. TM.
Good trap spells. Also, I like how one of these, I think it's pharmacology. Literally, I'm reading it and I'm like, you can heal their nausea and their pain, muscular. This is just weed. I just shoot you guys with a weed gun.
You just roll up one of your leaves.
We're like, here you go, guys. Oh, you're not feeling good?
Instead of pulling it from behind her ear, she just like,
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
Children are so gross. No, it's right. Like you were saying, like shooting people with needles, like, and all the races are so weird and it's gross.
Some of them are really pretty.
I'm gonna draw my character because I'm like, trees, plants. So I'm excited for this. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do for this, and then I just, first of all, great app, great website. I like just going down the line and like if I needed to change something, it lit up and I could click on it, and it was nice. But by the end, I was like, oh, okay, this slaps.
Slaps.
I'm about it.
There's so much text to every ability.
But I like that it explains all of it. Like, I
It's-
can click
it's-
on anything and get the little blurb. What do you say? Sorry.
oh, I was just gonna ask, Helena or Jake, which one of you would be a better, or would have been a better intro to the group for me?
So tell me again what you've landed on as far as why you're moving through the world.
So I'm thinking, I'm kind of thinking Isoki, probably Thief, as far as kind of the operative background goes. So a little bit of like underworld, under the radar, made his way that way. Picked up a lot of skills along the way of this, and likely met either of you in the middle of a job.
I picked Street Rat. for my background or for my theme. Sorry.
And Haven was a bouncer for an underground mafia type group for a long time.
Okay, so I could have met everybody but Carrot. Well, actually, okay, everybody but either of you pretty easily. I could have met both of you pretty
Yeah.
easily. So if you're up for it, then maybe we met as youngsters, whether we stayed connected or not.
Youngsters.
Yeah.
We're both rodent adjacent.
So
Otters are mustelids, thank you.
so to that then, you
Isoki's a sentient. What are you talking about?
Those are rodents.
I mean, sentient rodents. You call me adjacent still? You call me okay.
Yeah.
We got a fucking bigot on our hands here.
immediately Volley is like, can you believe this fucking guy?
I am comprised completely of insects.
Millionaire.
Is it wrong to refer to what someone is?
I'm not using Haven as specific, but like when we were youngsters, if Volley heard that, he'd immediately be like, we're friends, fuck that guy.
Okay. Okay, so we've known each other since we were children.
That's
You
what
became a
makes sense.
starship. You kind of became a starship captain.
Gift of gab.
How did? Okay, I was gonna ask you how you got out of the underworld.
Gift of gab.
You
Okay.
won the ship in a gambling.
So,
Now you're a captain. You won the
Feel
ship.
so maybe a little bit of your fuck up friend that's good at getting out of sticky situations.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then maybe your character saw both of us in a hairy situation, was like, these two idiots.
Well, like honestly, I would be, because I'm doing my own research just around, but I would probably have bounced from like like hospital to hospital, medic outpost on different planets to work and help, but also while I was there, like learn about the area and stuff like that. Because I have a very, very high physical and life sciences thing.
And
And so, like, I feel like I would probably have met you. You probably came into one of the med bays.
Yeah.
I think more than likely I'm from Ensel. Like born and raised, because there's a lot of easy opportunity.
You know, it
So-
would have been a physiological wonder to me. It'd be
So I guess so. Maybe it's a cascading thing
okay.
of you met. A question. It'd be like
Yeah.
you met one and then found the others through them.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be pretty easy to just kind of like fit me into as far as like, oh yeah, I met you through the thing, and then you came in right after, and I had to patch you up, and you're just super like, ooh. Like I feel like it would have been pretty easy to fit. If anyone got injured at any point, I could have easily been at that med bay.
So for us, or I guess so maybe for us, were we? Do you think we were regulars, or were we getting kicked out on a regular basis?
So Haven is functionally immortal because he's constantly dying and giving birth to new members of his. He's basically a town, right? Because the name, like each individual insect in his body has its own name and is interacting with each other. But when he interacts with the outside world, he interacts as the whole. So he is basically a town of creatures. And so his whole thing is so many of his race are like, let's go out and see the stars, experience new things. And he's just kind of like, he's like foreign relations. And so he hooks up with whoever provides him with what he needs. And then he's like, okay, you want me to unalive the other countries? Cool.
So, but you were saying like that you were like a bouncer?
Yeah, so his theme is card, right? So he has, what he does is like stand in places and protect people. That's his whole thing. But I was thinking that at the onset of the story and like where his violent streak comes from, I'm sorry, my voice is getting so bad. But where his violent streak comes from is he was in a string of a lot of people who were like, oh no, yeah, that guy's real bad. You should shoot the shit out of him. So, violent Spock. It's just like, all right, that's logical. So in my mind, either of your characters if one of you just told Haven, is like, hey, you work for me now, Haven would be like, okay.
I
Oh, that makes sense that my character would have done that. My character's name is Volley, by the way.
Yeah, I think I would have known you because you were the first Bernari I met. Spit it like that. You were the first Bernari I met, healed you up, and then you were just so fascinating to me physiologically that I just like met you through him kind of thing. Because I just kind of became his personal medic out of annoyance and spite. Yeah. So I feel like I would have met everyone through however you met me, because I'm just following you around, making sure you don't die.
I kind of, if this is something you're up for, if somebody told you to kill either one of us or somebody that we were close to, and just be like, the fuck are you doing? Like, he's not doing anything wrong. He's just standing here. He's eating his breakfast. Like, he's having a coffee. He's not hurting anybody. What are you trying to, like, don't kill him.
Okay.
Like, having that be like, and why?
I was told to.
All right, who told you? We're going to plan C.
I'm not supposed to say.
No, that's fair. We're not supposed to talk about
We're not supposed to. Let me try this again. Who told you?
No, I was saying it's a good thing to not give up your sources.
You would just speak to
Oh,
intimidate.
okay, no, sorry. Yeah, oh.
Cox gun.
Are you going to shoot me? And then a literal, like, huge rifle.
No,
forms.
not gonna. No, nobody's gonna hurt anybody. Everybody's fine.
Oh, no, that is fascinating.
This is a violence-free zone. This is a coffee zone.
This
Probably
coffee's though.
If you want that outside so I can shoot you.
No, I don't think so. Maybe you have a seat. We have a talk.
You find sitting to be very uncomfortable.
You stand. We sit. We talk.
If you would like, I can make myself shorter. He just kind of compresses.
What are you made of again?
He is made out of incredibly tiny gnats.
Gnats. Okay.
Like, but it's a whole body.
So when the weapon appeared, was that like a gnat-made weapon?
So
or...
Haven is both a swarm of insects and a swarm of nanobots.
So both nanobot insects.
Yes, they are coexisting. So he is half machine, bug.
So those are like the nanobot.
The nanobots form the weapons.
If you get shot by a nanobot weapon, I want to take samples before we clean up that wound. Take samples.
Okay, so that's an option then.
Yeah.
So we can.
And you just guys keep telling him rules, and then eventually you just get him onto the ship, and he's like, I think I'm supposed to go back.
No, I don't.
Oh.
No, that's a bad idea.
Yes, that's what. And like he just goes with it. Like he's not stupid, but like if somebody tells him this is what's supposed to happen, he's just kind of like,
He's a nice guy.
technically not a guy.
He's a nice
What?
collective.
What do you survive on?
Food?
Regular food like everyone else?
Do you not survive on food?
I do.
Everyone.
I don't know if this is how your physiology actually works, but I love the idea of just like taking a bagel and just like pushing it
Exactly.
into his chest.
Like they would literally tear it apart and distribute it.
Wild.
I
We see little bagel crumbs going all over.
mean, it gets broken down to such small pieces.
That's true, they're gnats.
Yeah.
That's true.
3 days into the journey, just being like, watch this. Doesn't matter where you put it.
Oh, so how do I work? So am I gonna have
Even
UV
his
lamps
armor,
in the lab?
right?
I thought
Each individual
photosynthesized. That's
map
how
wears
I
a
eat.
piece of it.
I can
and
go
then
for
they
3 days without
clock into place.
photosynthesizing, and then I start
So
starving to
even
death.
his armor is part of the
So as far as the
swarm.
sun goes,
That's something when Rio built the ship, he's got to factor in that you need someplace with UV lamps.
I need UV lamps. Otherwise, I starve
You
to
still
death
haven't
because I
sent me that.
photosynthesize.
After you use it.
Are you?
You think that's interesting?
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Die without the sun.
I do. I would. Yes.
Don't touch him.
Imagine going
Because you're
out.
delicious.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you've said.
Yes,
Imagine
that's
going
what I've been
outside.
told.
I was told very early.
Don't.
I was told very early in my forming to not eat other sentients.
I would appreciate
That's
that. Thank
good.
You. Thank you.
We like that rule.
That
Do
rule has
you-
not changed.
Do you want it to, in your mind, like, do you want it to be that you were sent to kill a friend of ours, or you were sent to kill one of us, or like something else that we walked in on you on a violent action, or like?
It doesn't matter to Haven. And I think even the people he was working for were manipulating him because he does have a strong urge to protect people. You know what I mean? He wants other, you know what I mean? But like, so they tell him, that guy's out to get me. You gotta go take care of him because he's out to get me. He's like, oh, you were my friend. I have to stop that person from hurting you.
So would it work if like, so if, and I don't have a name yet, I'm working on that part of it. Because I was
You say Radigan?
Remy. Because that was actually the Lashunta name I was going for, but I kind of still like it pretty Soki. Of like, if like he gets in front of you when you're about to kill somebody, you're not necessarily going to want to hurt him because he's not your
Where
person.
do I find?
And like, maybe
is there a
that's like
list
an
of
initiative
biohacks,
or
or is
initiative
it I
of
just get to
conversation.
make it up?
I mean, any number of situations
I haven't
where
seen like a list
he starts
yet.
lying to him, essentially.
My question for this backstory then is like, how do we establish some sort of friendship or loyalty or something? Because if we're out, I don't want the trope to be like, oh, the bad guy just tells you, oh, nope.
I think if people were truly friendly to him, is like, so Haven is relatively young.
Okay.
So like, basically when he met you guys, that was his first year being this swarm.
Okay.
So like, he was just naive, you know what I mean? So people were telling him we're your friends. So I think if he started developing friendships, he'd be like, no, these are my friends.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
do the things friends are supposed to do. I've read about this. They hug, and you know what I mean? Like things friends are supposed to do.
I do
Watch
like the
out
idea
for
of,
you.
can I touch you without eating me?
Of course.
Okay, cool.
To pick off
Could I
dead skins.
reflavor
That's
a light armor to my life?
Good job.
It kind of tingles when you hug him because he's just like,
Yeah, there's like a.
Well, and I do feel like,
So I was like,
even being
okay.
like a thief, he's not an asshole. Like he's a pretty straightforward person. So okay, so that works.
Yeah. And I think that like maybe when the friendships were starting, we were somewhere and someone said something offhanded and Bali was like, nope. And like shoved all the plates off the table, climbed up on the chair, climbed up on the table, walked up to this like big thing and was like, you take that back. Like poking this thing in the chest, whatever like big creature it was, and like was
and
hurting.
then, Wally, are we commencing violence? Just gun. Gun and armor forming.
Oh dear.
It turns around. So, Haven, they insulted your character. They think you are
Yes.
Starting
awful.
on page
I'm informing them how great you
I
are.
will end their swarm.
And then that was like the start of like,
Page 41. Thank you.
So
Astrid the Bandrid.
Yeah, I'd like to think that I was in the background a little bit, like you all have like a weird day and something humiliating happens and then but it's comedic and then all of a sudden you look up and there I am recording you. Like maybe you trip or something. And then I'm there recording you and then we somehow talk because I'm like, well, I'm an influencer from my planet and I'm trying to, send this information back to them about what other species are like or whatever. And so
So you're more like an anthropologist.
I suppose, and like I got piloting skills because I was like, that's an excellent way for me to be of use and for me to be able to
already
travel
shared
and see a lot of different
the driving
things. So, I mean, what I would assume is like when your character's looking for a pilot, like you had some point had encountered me. I'm like, oh yeah, that annoying Bantrid that was recording me was a pilot or whatever, or like somehow you all like you have that embarrassing moment. I'm recording you, and then you're like, oh, thank God I got rid of her, or it. I guess I'm gonna be they them pronouns because, I'm so glad to get rid of them. And then later on, your mission where you meet the pilot that's gonna be on your ship, you're like, oh, it's them. Like, wah wah.
I love the idea that like even if practically it is more of an anthropologist for your culture, the fact that you use the word influencer like sets me off.
I know
You're a fucking influencer. You're putting this on fucking Instagram.
exactly.
Space.
But I'm not sure how it's gonna. I'm playing with I think it would be funny to be a Bantrid, this genderless kind of baby species because they don't have any history, but playing them as oh my god, you guys, guess what happened today? The swarm ate a bagel and it was so I'm not sure. I might do something like that.
So
But
what might
That'd be
work
fun.
for what you're saying is, so we're a spacefaring society. Right?
Yeah.
So if we're trying to get out of the streets, we probably have served on ships before. So after we met, had that moment, and then we go on a thing where you're the pilot of that ship.
Okay.
And then when you go to set out on your own, you already know the pilot.
And I'm cheap because I'm new, or I'm
Haven is also cheap.
but I'm also, but I'm not a bad pilot. I just.
You could be
And the thing, I didn't want to use the theme that was the celebrity because I don't want to be a celebrity yet. I want that to develop as I'm doing it longer. I'm trying to get followers and I'm trying to, I don't know.
Maybe you're a huge deal to other Bantrids, but nobody else has heard of you.
Sure.
diplomat.
And then years down the line, Bantrids have their moment on TikTok.
Glad that
All thanks to me.
The stuff. Okay.
Hey everybody, it's Asti Band.
I just imagine you doing TikToks of 10 ways to defrictionize your roller. Are you tired of lint getting all over your roller?
We don't have any of the StarCraft.
5 ways to make your Ophelia super
So do you
special and sparkly.
I don't have any of the StarCraft. The only StarCraft thing I have in my drive.
Super sparkly.
Yeah. I don't know about you,
Have to
but
go
my
to that
Ophelia
shared
is so
with you.
hairy.
I have that.
I think that would be. I do like the idea of I'm kind of maybe going towards Remy. His name's Remus. But Remy being just weirdly fascinated. I just don't know what a cilia is. But yeah, that's crazy. I'm very hairy.
And
I want to learn how to become sparkly. Watching the videos.
Remus is Astrid's first follower.
Oh my God.
After that interaction, gets so angry that he looks them up, and then it's oh no, I do want to learn about that.
There's a lot of helpful tips on here.
Yeah. I don't want lint. What?
There's a way to get rid of lint.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, it's a
Lint is a real
rollerball.
problem.
Well, it's specifically for rollerballs, but I'm sure we can apply this to something.
I don't think it's mass for either of those things.
if you all are quite done.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Sorry.
But the books aren't in there. For some reason.
Do you need me to delouse you again?
Oh, I had a
Weird.
question. Bio, are they kind of prepared spellcasters?
Are you cool with me being your first follower?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Biohacks.
I think my goal is to be the loudmouth asshole with a heart of gold.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Something about it takes 10 minutes to prepare
I
your
caught
bio.
you.
And it felt very.
Let's see. You were doing something nice for somebody, but it somehow backfired on you. Like you gave somebody a coin. They were asking for money. You gave them a coin, but then you see them later winning a bet against you or something. And you're like, wait a minute, I gave you the money to bet against me, and I'm just recording that. I don't know.
fucking delete it. Delete the fucking getting real close to the camera, or it's just the nose of the. That's so cute.
I'm just watching you with the camera.
Ooh, somebody stealing his wallet.
I caught who it was, and then he's mad at me because I didn't say anything.
Well, I mean, you got street cred.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
can't steal from
Delete
you.
that little break.
Oh, okay.
I can get a new wallet. I can't get a new fucking reputation.
Of course, consent is very important.
Yeah. What?
You
Yeah.
are always telling me consent is important.
No, but I will. I mean,
It is.
yeah. So he's like thinking of like all the last 6 things that he stole. It is very important.
What are you?
I'm a Bantrid.
What is a band?
Well, so we're from this planet. Well, it's a moon. I think you guys call it.
From a planet.
Oh, okay, good. I think most people are.
I'm not.
No, Remus is from a space station.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Tell me more about that.
But like the moon?
Yeah, moon. It's called Hib. We were in hibernation for a really long time, and we don't even know why. It's kind of funny.
Because of the gap?
I don't think it was even. I think it was like before the
I
gap.
think it was Baby Gap.
What is the baby gap?
You're just gonna confuse him again, though.
Someday.
It's like a gap that's smaller.
Oh. So a shorter amount of time was lost.
Younger.
Well, I mean, again, because all of our
Time
data was
cannot be
lost.
yet.
I don't know. But maybe one day we'll find out. Memory gets recovered all the time.
How do you handle your credits?
I think they're all gone. We roll everywhere, so we don't really need like money. No.
How do you think you?
I don't know. We just need seeds and nuts.
What is a seed?
We have much to cover.
I mean, that's actually, it just says that their mouths are small and they have a few teeth for eating seeds and nuts. And I was like, okay,
foragers.
that's what you eat, huh? Okay.
So part of the Goron thing is that I have just a seed inside of me that I can choose to expel and
Oh,
plant.
seed.
And then
Oh,
basically
cool.
clone myself.
That's cool.
And that's how my race repopulates.
We really should have a couple of those in waiting because somebody might eat you.
That's true. Yeah, clone me in the lab, please, so I can come back. My character will never die. I'll just keep cloning myself.
Record the
It's not
process.
sad.
That's what a Bantrid is.
You like gain that sentience again, regrow up and receive like eaten again.
It's just baby Groot. But it's like I still like all the I'm small, but all the everything is still there because it's a perfect clone of
Eaten
the
again?
previous. So I'm like, someone press that button for me and fill the syringes. But I have all the knowledge.
How long does it take for you to become fully grown again?
It's like 1d6 weeks or
Oh.
days or something like that.
That's
I'd have to
nice.
look into it. And if I do
We
an
have all your
extra,
own memories.
it's a perfect clone.
Up
So-
to the point of the cloning.
Like once you
think
expel
so.
the seed.
Yeah, from the point at which, and then I think if you leave it for a second 2d, if you leave it for 2d6, it'll grow into a sapling or an oakling or something. So it's just mostly fully grown at that point, kind of thing. So if I die, I'll just take a couple weeks off and we can.
So I recorded a canine-like being trying to pee on you. Would be our embarrassing moment.
And I'm like,
That's not supposed to happen, right?
no.
So my personality thing I'm going for, I think, is the anti-captain almost, where if I have to, I'm very nice and formal and diplomatic. As soon as I hit the mute button, string of insults. Very pugnacious, starts fights.
We're definitely gonna have to label that button.
Oh yes.
Like,
Put tape around all the other buttons.
go into a tavern if someone's sitting at my favorite table. My table. The Bernari thing is that
And you have a walking weapons platform.
We gotta watch Firefly all the way through. I need to watch Firefly.
That and honestly, Expanse too. Expanse.
Because Haven has no problem killing other living beings because Spathinae are a little confused as how other races exist. Because to them, killing one Bantrid isn't really that big of a deal because there's other Bantrids
That make up the swarm.
that make up the swarm of Bantrids.
okay.
So, like, you tell him to kill someone, and he's totally cool with it, no matter who they are, except for like, the people he's throughout the backstory he's grown to care about.
My favorite thing, not my favorite, but one of my funny favorite quirks is that the Bernari all have one item that they cling to.
Yeah,
He told me about
their
this.
special thing.
And his is his otter plate. Or if we go to a restaurant, go to a bar, the server comes out and is like, "Here's your food." He puts his plate down, takes his food off of it, hits his food against it a few times, and then can eat it. Even if it's like spaghetti, still has to beat it against the plate.
Oh my God.
It's this
You
instinct.
just carry around a
and
dome.
shell. He keeps.
No, I'm saying you carry around a dome so you can put it over your plate so you can beat it inside there. Does it go flying everywhere?
No,
Oh,
It goes
okay.
flying.
Okay, all right.
Wasn't there?
takes his cheeseburger.
So your ship is disgusting.
No, because half of Haven just disperses and eats all of
Cleans it
stuff.
all up.
So it's dinner time.
There's a little bit of Haven just like goes on. It was Tavali's face, and he's just so used to it.
I like that the party's already working together.
Haven's sleeping quarters is just covered in bugs when he's not awake. So you just walk in, it's just like
Oh my god.
bugs everywhere.
Actually, I find them in my leaves and I'm like, "Hey, Ben."
We would never.
All right.
You're a sentient.
Think anyone have any questions?
I bought a lot of grenades. Is that a bad thing?
Are you proficient in grenades?
What's a lot?
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet. I am.
I didn't have spare credits, and I was like, I don't know, let's spend these on. So I
Okay.
bought grenades.
Do I have to buy my biohacks? I still can't find if I have to
No.
buy them or
No,
something.
you know them.
Okay, I still can't find a list of biohacks.
It's
So-
that in that thing. It's
It's in
those are
here?
the things.
Okay.
So you get to pick what it does when you use it.
It's like
Okay.
it tells you it's like a +1 or a -1 or something like that, and like you can flavor them as what they are. But
I'll
like,
read through this
it
then.
tells you what they do.
Okay. Okie dokie, I can do that.
Because I think you get a basic med and a basic toxin. You have
Yeah, I have two.
the one
a
for your
basic
allies
inhibitor
and one for your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And all three of those effects in there, you choose which one when you use it. Like you don't have to
Okay,
prepare
and I
in
have
advance.
4 slots.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just have it's the 4 spell slots, and then I can just decide which one does at the time. Okay.
So if you want to give like Haven +2 AC, you decide when you use it.
Okay.
And that uses up one of them.
I
And
don't
you
have to
three
have
left.
like a specific. Okay.
No. You know.
I also like the concept
No, fine.
that when you use one on Haven, it's just an aerosol spray
Oh yeah.
as opposed to a
Yeah,
needle.
yeah.
Because hitting one of Haven's bugs isn't going to be
It's not
very
gonna be-
useful.
I went up to you and I was like, I gotta reconfigure this. Hold on. I come back and I'm like, did it work?
What am I supposed to feel?
Better?
Yes, I do feel.
Ooh.
Oh, I should probably say we.
We. Yeah. It physiological wonder. Like,
I mean, we really are, honestly.
yes. Yeah, I'm gonna cling to that and be like,
Coulter's character and my character are just going to be the Destruction Twins.
I mean, Haven has nothing.
I know, but we're both loudmouthed and fiery tempered.
my goal is to be the one that like I'm trying to keep you all like, please don't do something stupid. Please don't do something stupid. But if like something happens and I get whacked, I'm like, "Mother, that was rude." Oh, that was the other thing. All the time that we're in combat, I'd be like, I'm supposed to be back in a lab. What am I doing? It's exhausting.
So we should definitely have a science lab on the ship, is what you're saying.
mhm.
Well, I should hope so. Yeah.
Well, I just need to know.
Yes, I do need UV lights.
There are requirements you have to have for the ship.
I need UV lights, please.
My living quarters don't have to be very big.
Well, the captain's quarters are always included in the ship. quarters.
Opulent.
Oh,
Opulent.
I'm probably going
Oh.
to spend a little bit on the crew quarters because I think we all have different needs.
So are you like building it in Roll20 or like
Kind of.
some version of Roll20?
So you
That's really
need
cool. Like
it's a
the map.
tier 1 vessel, and you need to have a guest quarter,
Okay.
and you need to have at least 1 cargo hold.
Okay, that's no
Okay, I'm just
What do we
yeah.
need to have?
This is interesting.
Mhm.
prisoners.
Yes,
only.
quarters
Yes,
or
requirement.
or passenger seating.
Guest quarters.
Specific.
Yes.
Or it's a
Give them board pods.
I guess for the story, we have to have guest quarters.
The brig.
it's the
That's what the
brig.
cargo holds.
It's slash the brig.
But there's a door on the guest quarters, but there's also a drop down bars for if we have to have like prisoners.
I mean,
That's for everyone's safety.
Yeah.
The captain has asked me to lock you in your room. Why? Because the captain asked me to. What do you mean?
Or if you were a threat to somebody, possibly. Hopefully, it's not yourself, because I've not secured you from yourself.
I suggested that we flood your quarters. You cannot breathe. But the captain said that would be unnecessary.
And then we would be a danger to you.
This is going to be very interesting as far as a role play standpoint goes with the full party.
I'm just saying,
Fun.
Haven's solution to every problem is if it's a problem, we should probably kill it.
so you've made a murder hobo.
A murder
Murder
hobo
hobo
with
that
dwarves.
needs a consensus to make that decision.
I'm okay with it. I'm
It's a
excited.
2/3 majority of the gnats and
No, of the rest of his swarm.
yeah.
Haven, throw him in the brig. Room.
The place,
The guest
not the
quarters?
bars.
The quarters. Yes. Quarters.
Just kind of swarms around a person and just slowly drug away.
Oh my god. So what we're seeing here, being taken prisoner.
Coulter, your character and my character are gonna kind of be the Chaos Twins, the Chaos Brothers.
So here's the thing. As much as I'd love to be a chaos brother, I don't want to argue with you. You think you're in charge. You're the man. You got the power. You got the stick. This is your ship. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I'm not going to let us get killed.
You're not gonna let us get killed?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The other day you
Yeah.
said that the ship was yours because you built it from the
You.
What?
I,
Several buttons when he pounds on the counter.
The owner of the ship.
if it works with you, my thought is like he's like a Remy's a hothead for reputation,
Okay.
but he's very much like a I'm not gonna die. Like so like he's I'm gonna go off when I have the opportunity, but like if he senses danger, he's much more like, oh yeah, let's talk about this. See what we can work through.
I think that works because to me volley is like it's like which volley are we gonna get? He's gonna go talk. They're either gonna come out of the room, shaking hands, cracking a joke, and getting dinner, or we're just gonna hear an explosion in the room.
I can be your hold me back man.
What level do you think we'll get to?
If we finish the entire thing, we'll get up to 12. Which I'm down for.
Well, I just want to know like what I could reasonably expect because I know with Haven I want to go heavy armor and heavy weapons, but that requires some investment. So that's why I was like,
In theory, we'll get up to 12.
Okay.
because I love the concept of him like going from just his normal form to suddenly just heavy plate armor out of nowhere because each individual gnat wears a piece of it. You can just kind of spin around from the inside to the outside and click into place. And then suddenly he's just armored with like a
Damage resistance.
those,
A Gatling gun.
is it a Gatling gun?
Yeah.
Minigun. That's what I'm thinking about.
Did you grow up on Absalom?
I think I went to. Give me a second to think about the backstory I was concocting. Yes, it makes sense. I've come from Absalom.
I like the idea that there's like this underground of rodents and mustelids that are just the mafia. Like,
That's the Mustard Collective.
well, and maybe at one point they were at odds. Like you listen to what Dad's talking, like back then. Ooh, we would not have been friends. Would have been a problem. Would have been a problem for us. But would have been a problem.
There's no problem here.
Nah. But like 2 generations ago.
2 generations ago, there almost wasn't. Generations to continue.
No. Oh. Whoa. Ah.
I'm from Shidari.
What's a Shidari? Is that like a mushroom?
No, it's a plant.
Oh.
You sound just like Nathan Lane. It's so crazy.
Yeah, no, that's... We're going a little late. We're going a little late.
I'm about this.
If you're gay and trying to do a gangster accent, you're gonna end up in Nathan Lane.
Yeah.
It's
That's not a bad thing.
No, I'm not complaining. I love Nathan Lane.
Any other questions right now?
Sorry, we derailed in so many different
It's all
directions.
good. It's good for story. I got some notes for some stuff.
Okay,
So much
just-
plot.
just timeline real quick. So you two met, became Hellions together. Eventually you tricked Haven into helping you out. Eventually she started chasing you around, trying to get you to live a better life. And then we started serving on ships where we met. What is your character's name?
Halo.
Halo.
Oh, I like that.
Where we met Halo. You became interested in Halo and her channel.
She's real smart.
Their channel.
And then after, so like how long ago did we get our first ship? Like how long have we been doing? Is this like our first time out?
It's up to you.
Because like we all know each other, but like maybe this is our first time we all serving on the same ship all at once.
Yeah, finally got your own
Also,
ship.
I know this is not totally
Is that what
related.
we were gonna say?
I love the idea that since you're the pilot, instead of piloting with your little arms, you have a pad that your rollerball fits into, and that's how you pilot the ship.
Okay.
I think that's funny. Totally up to you, like what you want.
It's
I
just
tried
like
this,
a
like,
little
image.
adapter device
Well,
that
it's
we
like
plugged in.
you roll into like a little like sunken like pad thing, and like your rollerball. It's like you're walking wherever you're going.
You
You're
become the
rolling.
rollerball.
Like you.
So our ship has to have a special helm.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it can't. It would have to be
Oh,
an
I'm sure. Like,
adaptation,
I'm sure. Yeah, you could have like another pilot seat.
just a
to, like,
pad or
yeah.
whatever.
Excellent for any
I just think it's funny. Like you don't have
No,
to do
you don't
that.
have to.
I mean, I kind of agree with Jake.
Makes sense.
Having a ship that can only be piloted by a Bantrid is a really good safety precaution.
I mean, it's not.
Just the one time that Astrid's like knocked out or Halo's knocked out or something, and we can't pilot the ship. I'm
Oh.
just imagining Remy's just like sitting there on his knees, like.
You guys have a ball that's like a strap, or that has like it has like a harness somewhere.
Haven can just form a ball.
But like in Haven, I love that you guys have like, oh my god, get out the safety ball. And it's like this ball that's like on a harness that you have to like lay in. You're like, I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go that way.
You don't know how fucking hard it is to turn this thing.
We'll turn it faster.
How do they do it?
That would be hilarious.
Can somebody heal Halo?
If you could keep the ship steady, I'm trying to kill the other ships.
Do we have an engineer? You're the engineer. Okay, cool.
Yeah, maybe I specialized in like tech theft.
I also, I mean, Yusaki's love ships, so it
Yeah.
makes sense that you would steal from other ships. But I love the idea that if you walk into our engine room, it makes no sense. It's just things taped to other things, and it works. It's great, but you're like, this is not exploded.
The true MacGyver in
What, you don't get it?
It's like that scene in like Rugrats in Paris where they open up the Reptar and it's like rubber bands and paper clips that are holding the entire thing together, and like one snaps and it blows up.
And like parts of the engine are like alive from like living ships, and you're like, how does that interface?
What do you not understand? So the green thing connects all the way through until you run out of green thing, and then it becomes a blue thing. And the blue thing goes through, it's about a quarter the size of the green thing, but the green thing's alive, so that's fine. You go to the blue.
When you die, can I study your brain, please? It's quite interesting.
I mean,
We have the plant as proposed murder.
depends on which of us
What
dies
happens
first.
next?
Toots.
Of course, of course. But if you die first, I'd love to
If I
try to
die first,
understand this.
Would you like some of my dead now?
For research purposes, just leave them in my lab. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
He holds out his hand and puts a bunch of dead
It's
moths.
just like, thank you.
I would be honored if you would study my dead corpse
I would very
You know.
much like to.
after it's dead.
Later, of course, yes, later. I'm not going, my job is to keep you alive, not.
Looks into with rocks glass is like, all I'm saying is I've heard I'm tasty, not that tasty, so I think my chances are better.
All right.
All right,
Okay,
there's
guys.
enough talk about murder on my ship.
If you're not careful, you're going to be the one dead.
You wouldn't let that happen.
Yet.
All right.
She would study him after he was gone.
I'm sorry, I gotta cut it.
Let's do it.
Thank you guys.
Be a weird
for
group.
it's gonna be a fucking weird group. I'm super excited. So yeah, if you have questions, whatever, let me know. We'll start next week. Thanks for joining us, guys. We love you. And thanks to our patrons who don't
I have those available on demand through one of the applications in which we keep this information, and nobody will notice I'm stalling if I just continue to talk as I push buttons. Thank you so much
Where did
to
you steal that outfit? The
Sparky,
question I have.
Sparky, Dothy, McDaniel, Rio's mom, Alistair, Sean, Rockelman, Eric Fox, Meepo, Dream Lover, Duke Relin, and Taku Arcana.
Thank you, friend.
we love you.
Yes. And we will come up with a tagline.
Eventually.
Line break.
Dr.
Dr.
Kelvin Honors.